Hi everyone, I'm Martin Bamford, and as well as being a chartered financial planner, I'm the father to 2 teenage daughters, a husband to a fantastic primary school teacher, and an employer to 10 talented women. So I want to share in this video some thoughts on the gender pay gap. By the end of this video, I'll share the key factors driving this gap between what men and women earn and why it matters. I'll also share some solutions for getting both sexes onto an equal footing regarding pay. Today is Equal Pay Day in the UK. That's the day of the year when women, on average, stop earning relative to men because of this gender pay gap. We know that, again on average, women earn less than men. That's what we refer to as the gender pay gap. Equal Pay Day, which is calculated by charity the Fawcett Society, is based on the mean full-time hourly gender pay gap for the UK, which this year is 11.9%. That's up from 10.6% last year. It would be easy for me to dismiss the gender pay gap at almost 12%, saying, well, yes, that's easily explained by various factors. Factors such as women doing more hours of unpaid work than men, including childcare, caring for elderly relatives and housework. This leaves women with less time for paid work, with 37% of women working part-time, according to the latest official figures in the UK. For both men and women, part-time workers typically get paid less per hour than their full-time colleagues. So if more women are working in part-time roles, this means they get paid less. Another key driver behind the gender pay gap is where women are working relative to men again. About a third of the gender pay gap can be explained by an overrepresentation of women in lower paying sectors, including care and, like my wife, education. Higher paying sectors like technology and engineering, they are still overrepresented by men, with as many as 80% of workers in some of these sectors male employees. Women tend to hold fewer executive positions. Look at the top 100 listed companies in the UK for a fairly stark example of this, where only 31 women hold executive roles in only 27 companies. There are only 8 female chief executives in those top 100 companies, and only 15 chief finance officers or finance directors. With executive roles typically the highest paying in any business, this lack of female representation at the top also contributes to the gender pay gap. And of course, women continue to face discrimination in the workplace. Despite it being illegal, they are often paid less than male colleagues working in the same role, and they find themselves demoted when returning from maternity leave. There's a difference between equal pay and the gender pay gap, with equal pay a legal issue due to the Equality Act 2010, and the gender pay gap a much broader societal problem. But equal pay, or unequal pay, does contribute to the gender pay gap. Here's another possible driver behind the gender pay gap in the UK, a lack of salary transparency. Now, new research by jobs website Glassdoor has found that only 1 in 4 full-time workers think their workplace is transparent about pay. That's despite pay transparency being a strong correlation with employee satisfaction. The research found that secrecy around pay is contributing to inequality for women. 67% of women did not ask for a pay rise last year. The proportion of men who asked for a pay rise, just 37%. In the past year, 35% of employees in the sectors dominated by female workers, such as healthcare, education and hospitality, only 35% asked for a pay rise. For male-dominated sectors, finance and tech, the numbers asking for a pay rise were 62% and 56% respectively. Why aren't women asking for more money? Well, 56%, more than a half, said they lacked the confidence to ask their boss for a pay rise. As a result of this lack of confidence, only a third of women negotiated the salary for their last job offer. That was compared with 45% of men. 43% of women said they accepted the salary offered to them when they took a new job, compared to just 35% of men. Glassdoor's career expert Jill Cotton said, "Workplace transparency is a hallmark of many successful companies, and more transparency is needed in the future. 1 in 2 women admit to lacking confidence at work. Companies should open an honest discussion around salary from a point that the role is advertised and throughout the person's time with the organisation." Cotton continued, "Having clear salary bands limits the need for negotiation, which, as the Glassdoor research shows, has a detrimental effect on female employees' ability to earn throughout their career." I've spoken recently in videos about how negotiating a pay rise is one strategy for addressing rising prices due to high price inflation. If you find yourself paying out more, you need to bring in more to avoid your wealth becoming eroded. Equal Pay Day today raises some crucial issues in respect to financial planning. Knowing that women are paid less on average than men, this has significant consequences basis for our long-term financial planning. We know that women also tend to live longer than men, so they need a larger pot of money to last for that longer lifetime. We don't yet know what the impacts of the COVID pandemic will be on the gender pay gap. I can't imagine for one moment it will have made the gap any smaller. Those sectors hardest hit by redundancies and with the greatest numbers placed on furlough throughout the pandemic, these tended to be overrepresented by women. Younger women in particular are likely to have seen their gender pay gap increase during the past couple of years, thanks all to the impacts of the pandemic. On the positive side, gender pay gap reporting has shone a light on larger employers who need to take some action. The Fawcett Society wants to see mandatory action plans for employers to tackle the gender pay gap in the workforce, and also they should share more data. And there's more the government can do to make childcare more affordable, allowing women to work more hours if they so choose to do. How do we fix the gender pay gap? Well, there's no one-size-fits-all solution, but there are steps that employers, government and society as a whole can take to make things better for women. As Glassdoor say, the pay transparency part is an excellent place to start. Employers should be reviewing their salaries for male and female employees and sharing an overview of the results, even if that's just within their own boards. Put in place a policy to demonstrate to existing and also prospective team members how you can come up with their remuneration is important here. From a business perspective, that exercise should help you become more competitive with your recruitment, and it should also improve your retention rates too. Linked to salaries are, of course, other forms of remuneration, bonuses and benefits. These feed into the gender pay gap too, especially if they're directly related to individual results rather than the performance of your entire team or business as a whole. So make sure your bonus structure isn't discriminatory to those who take time off for childcare. Does everyone have the same opportunity within your business to earn a bonus? And on that subject of childcare, are you encouraging your male employees to take shared parental leave when the partner has a baby? Shared parental leave, it was introduced in the UK in 2015, but I think remains an underused facility. So give new fathers a nudge towards doing this. Employers should be doing more to help with childcare, both logistically but also with the costs. Childcare is a massive expense for new parents, so point your employees towards the government's tax-free childcare accounts, which can save them up to £2,000 a year. And that's a perk in addition to the 30 hours of free childcare each week, but it's often overlooked. Last but not least, you can encourage remote working. Now, remote working makes it easier for parents to manage their childcare responsibilities while progressing their career and earning money. One positive to come from the pandemic, and there are a few, but one positive is that remote working has been widely proven to work. It just works. It's working just as effectively for many as working from an office. But that time saved on the daily commute and the flexibility that comes with remote working, these are especially valuable for women with children. The gender pay gap is an issue that impacts women all over the world. It's not just a UK problem. It's not just a question of whether or not you get paid less than your male counterparts. It can also negatively affect everything from career opportunities to retirement benefits, even life expectancy. As we saw hopefully in this video, many factors are driving this gap between what men and women earn, but fortunately there are solutions for getting both sexes onto an equal footing when it comes to pay. What steps will you take today if you're an employer to close the gender pay gap? Do let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time, I'm Martin Bamford, and remember, when it comes to your money, the more you know, the faster it can grow.